sun had just set on a brisk October day in Ireland. The countryside was full of people who were walking briskly on their way home, their coats flowing in the breeze as they stepped on the cobblestone pathway. Children were finishing their games outside before they were called home by their mothers. It was almost time for dinner. As the night went on, the townsfolk went to sleep in preparation for the next day, except for two young lovers who had met in the cover of darkness. The young man grabbed his lover's hand and led her through the village's main road, which was dimly lit by lantern light. He felt his heart speed up as he thought about taking his lover in his arms underneath the old beech tree that stood proudly a mile outside the village limits. "Barry, slow down," she said with a smile. "Come on," he shouted back. Two of them laughed their way through the nighttime autumn air until they finally arrived at their destination. The tree was tall and stood alone on top of a small hill. Its branches still held a few brown and orange leaves, while an abundance of others laid like a blanket beneath. Barry and his lover reached the tree and immediately collapsed on one another. While they were busy repeatedly locking their lips, they were unaware of a dense fog that rolled in. As Barry attempted to take off his lover's blouse, she felt an ice-cold breeze on her skin. "Stop," she said. "It's too cold." When those words struck his eardrums, Barry realized the dramatic change in weather. His eyes grew wide as another sound faintly made itself known. Galloping. Barry's breath began to pick up. His lover questioned what was happening. His anxiety rose as he himself slowly raised his head and looked around. The galloping grew louder and louder each moment, his fear gripping his mind. Suddenly, he heard a voice speak. It sounded like the tightening of a rope and a soft whisper of dead tree branches. The voice said one word: Barry. The gallop stopped. Barry's eyes searched for anything within the fog. His eyes squinted as he scanned. A chill gripped his spine as he finally caught something in the distance. It was a faint glow of light. He felt his throat constrict as the fog began to dissipate, allowing the rider to be seen. Pure fear stabbed Barry through his stomach as he stared at the rider. The visitor sat proudly on top of a horse. His black leathers flowed in a spectral dust. The jet-black stallion's eyes were a bright red, his breath a hot steam. The rider was holding a small lantern with an orange flame that flickered inside. Barry's eyes attempted to meet the eyes of the figure, but he could not, for the rider's body ended at his neckline. Barry stood frozen, waiting for the rider to do something. It wasn't long before he got his wish. The rider raised his free hand and showed he was holding a small object that was covered in shadow. Barry's eyes began to water as he attempted to prepare himself for what came next. Suddenly, the object the rider was holding showcased two small green lights. A larger green light opened beneath them, unleashing a horrifying sound. The object was the rider's head. Barry screamed as he collapsed and cowered into a ball. His lover grabbed him and held him close. The fog disappeared and the temperature returned to its October briskness. The two lovers returned to their village, sharing one final kiss before they parted to their own households. The following morning, the young woman awoke to the sound of birds chirping and people busying as the sunlight spilled through her window. Concerned about Barry, she quickly got to her feet and ran out of her home, greeting her parents in the process. She rushed through the cobblestone pathway and pushed past the streets of people. She finally arrived at Barry's home and knocked on the door. But the door slowly opened, showcasing a dark corridor inside. "Barry," she called out. She stepped inside and looked around. A frost hung in the air. She noticed the door to his bedroom was shut. The woman approached and grabbed the iron handle. She pushed open the door and a sight of horror met her gaze. Her beloved Barry was sprawled across the floor, lying in a pool of his own blood. The woman's scream echoed throughout the entire village. This is the legend of Dullahan.
Wow. Wow.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed that conversation and you want to hear more from that episode, be sure to check it out. There's a link at the end of the video.
And be sure to follow us on all our socials and stay tuned for new episodes. We'll see you guys around.